Hi, my name is KiwiKiller67 and this is my submission video for Donkey Kong 64 No Levels Early for SGDQ 2017. There's going to be a bit happening at the beginning that I'm going to do my best to explain as quickly as possible. And then after we get through this intro glitch section, I'll explain a bit more about the run. So, without further ado, 3, 2, 1, go. So, first thing I did was I started playing the intro story and then canceled it at specifically 1.9 seconds after activating it. What this does is it causes the intro story to be playing in the background. So while I'm entering my file, that intro story is still playing, and we're going to use scene transitions throughout the intro story to save things eventually from the main menu to our file. But while we're waiting for some of those scene transitions, we're going to do some things in our file. So first we'll talk to Cranky to spawn the training barrels. We need most of these moves that are learned from the training barrels throughout the run. And we need to enter this first one at exactly 55 seconds so that when the cutscene starts fading out due to the scene transition in the intro story that's playing in the background, we don't actually end up watching the intro story. We're allowed to still continue progress in our file. So I'm going to wait here now for 1 minute 24 seconds to pass on my timer, and then I'm going to jump into the second barrel to cancel the second scene transition. So this is the vine training barrel. This teaches us how to use vines and causes them to spawn in the world. Grab the coin, training barrel done. And we'll complete one more training barrel. This one being the barrel throwing barrel. This allows us to throw barrels. We can just hold B, walk into the barrels, pick them up, and throw them as quickly as we can. And so we're going to go back to the main menu to do something with intro story glitch that we refer to as main menu mode. So while the intro story is playing in the background, we can examine our file so that all modifications we perform in the main menu are actually saved to that specific file, and we can cancel those scene transitions by watching boss cutscenes. Now, watching boss cutscenes does a couple things. One, the boss cutscenes will provide specific moves dependent upon the boss, and the last boss cutscene we watch will give us whatever moves that boss cutscene specifically allows. Also, by watching boss cutscenes, it gives us a shorter version when we are actually going and fighting these bosses throughout the run. So, it does save a significant amount of time to get these shorter cutscenes and not have to watch the full-length cutscenes while we're waiting for the final scene transition. We'll do Forest Boss last. This is due to it giving all moves and upgrades for all the Kongs without having to unlock them, as well as all the instruments, and because we are canceling out the scene transitions that occur when we watch the boss cutscenes with multiplayer, we also obtained all the guns and sniper scope. Exit out of this boss, and then we need a cutscene to play while we are on the main menu. There's 10 possible cutscenes. 7 of them will pull us into our file, and of the 3 bad cutscenes, only 2 of those can be the first cutscene. Unfortunately, we just got one of the bad cutscenes, Night Cycle. We'll see what we get for this second one. We get the other bad cutscene. We get a leg shake. What's our third one going to be? Alright, third one we got pulled in. So that's a bit of an RNG factor. Not a big deal. So, we still have one training barrel to complete, so we're going to leave DK's treehouse and head over to the last training barrel. And we do this training barrel after main menu mode because if we were to do it before, our orange count would be set to 0, and oranges are extremely useful throughout the run, with saving time by skipping cutscenes for golden bananas. And by completing it, we're automatically given our maximum of 20. This is going to be one of our first glitches called swim through vertical walls. We can enter first person along a specific plane, and by just pressing A while in first person, you can swim directly through the wall so long as you don't move your control stick. So we're going to head over to K Lumsey to unlock the first level. So I'm going to take this time to explain a bit of the category. No Levels Early was previously run at SGDQ 2015 by Tudos. The route has changed significantly since that run, where every level is now routed entirely differently. And there's lots of new tricks involved in the run. It's been highly optimized since then, and we're still finding further optimizations, and it's made a ton of progress, and I really hope it will make it into SGDQ, as there's been a ton of work that's been put into it. So we opened the first level, and we're just going ahead and get that golden banana and then enter the first level. So the goal of No Levels Early is, as the name states, to not enter levels early. We need to have the appropriate boss key and the correct number of golden bananas to enter each level, and then there's an additional requirement that we must defeat all bosses. So we enter Jungle Japes, and the first thing we're going to notice is there is a bush right there on the right hand side. Now this bush is quite interesting because if we jump over the bush, walk into it, rotate ourselves, we can actually push ourselves out of bounds, completely ignore the walls because walls don't exist in this game, as you'll find out soon. Come to this tree, jump on it, cancel an aerial with a kick, and do something called a moon kick, which allows us to gain a rapid amount of height throughout the kicking animation and climb for the second golden banana. So we're going to pick up this ammo here so we can shoot Diddy switches and free Diddy. Because we have sniper scope, we can actually shoot this switch all the way from up here, kick down to the water, and then we're going to do something called a cutscene overlap. We're going to shoot this switch, kick into the cutscene, and the first cutscene is cancelled by the second cutscene that's playing, and saves time and allows us to use Warp 1 later. Swim through vertical walls again, and grab the golden banana. stay out of bounds, and we'll roll over to this cage area to get DK's blueprint by jumping past the cage. By knocking over Kasplat and then doing damage to him as he's getting up, you can instantly kill him. We'll tag warp 3 for later, climb the tree, and then we'll do another cutscene overlap by this time utilizing Bee Blast. So, Bee Blast is a small game exclusive for Donkey Kong where you shoot yourself through the barrels to get to the end where you're usually rewarded with a golden banana. And so upon re-entering, we can hear the golden banana spawn for freeing Diddy, but the cutscene actually doesn't play because we overlapped it. So we can move while the animation is playing, get to warp 2, and climb to grab this golden banana. So we're going to head over to Snides and grab this ammo along the way. Unfortunately, I just missed one. That's fine though. And we're going to tag Diddy. So we can do some other interesting things during cutscenes. We can shoot this switch and then chimpy charge through the cutscene. Unfortunately, we hit the wall. But it allows for movement through a cutscene and saves a little bit of time. Climb and enter the mountain. By standing on a specific spot underneath this bridge, we can backflip, move at the peak of our jump, clip right through the bridge, and hit the switch, spawning this golden banana on top of the mountain. So we'll exit the mountain, backflip up, and grab the golden banana. Continuing as Diddy, we can drop down and get his blueprint and these 3 ammo boxes. Ammo is extremely useful for killing Kasplats quickly as well, as it's faster for some Kongs to shoot them than it is to knock them down. Swim through vertical walls and head over while out of bounds to the cave area that has Diddy's golden banana. Jump and bound. Then we can use this beaver to hit us into the golden banana, skipping the 5-second dance animation, and enter to fight the first boss. We can use DK to do another moon kick to get over the wall, go right through, bypass Troffenskoff, and enter the boss. And so this boss is Armadillo 1. It's a very standard boss that doesn't really have too much variation to it, but there are some optimizations. Basically, he's going to have a shooting phase where he shoots a varied amount of shots at you depending on which phase you're on. You can see up, look at the ground to lag reduce by being in first person. Throw the barrel upon him popping out of his shell. He takes damage, and roll right into him to avoid having to wait out that phase. And so you'll see that I'm not taking damage. This is one of the effects of main menu mode. Because the game still thinks we're in the main menu, we cannot take damage, as there is no damage to be taken in the main menu. Also, we cannot pause, and the game will no longer save, because the start button is deactivated, and the game does not think we are actually in the adventure mode. So, because we can't pause after we defeat the boss, we're not able to immediately leave the level. So we're going to do a technique of getting back to the start of the level, which is called voiding out. So by moving a specific distance, I set myself up next to this torch, jump aerial at the peak of the torch, and by moving far enough out of bounds, the game will just teleport you back to the start area. And that's Jungle Japes. And so we're going ahead and turn in key 1. And this will unlock the second level, Angry Aztec. So the door to Angry Aztec opens. We exit K Lumsy. We can take Warp 1. And then head up to the second level. Tag some warps along the way as they're useful for later. Backflip up. Climb the tree. And then eventually cross to get over to Angry Aztec. You'll see that I'm doing different movement with DK than I am with Diddy. There's different movement speeds for each Kong that has their own specific movement tech. DK, it's much faster to roll than it is anything else. Diddy, it's fastest to cartwheel jump. And for the other 3 Kongs, it's fastest to long jump. And it just takes a bit of optimization of each to get used to and to improve your movement. So this is Angry Aztec, the desert level of the game. So we're going to continue across these vines, shoot these switches, and open the area to DK's blueprint. So you may be wondering why we're actually collecting these blueprints. So each one of these blueprints, once we visit Snides, will also give us a golden banana. And we need 100 golden bananas to complete this category so that we can enter Hideout Helm, which is the final level. And blueprints, because we can turn in multiple ones at the same time, are very, very fast golden bananas. So we're going to come over here, tag Diddy, cross, use Diddy's double jump ability to climb up the tree a bit quicker, and enter Rocket Barrel to grab Diddy's blueprint. Pull out our gun, drop and shoot the switch as we're falling. Grab a crystal along the way, and enter the temple to free Tiny. So, there's another way of getting out of bounds called a ledge clip. We can, on certain ledges, move forward and buffer our movements with C up to stop our forward momentum, fall through an edge, and clip out of bounds. And 5 long jumps takes us right to Tiny to get her golden banana. We can skip having to raise the platforms by hitting an incorrect letter first. It's just fastest to do O. And then we'll actually complete the puzzle by spelling out Kong. N and G. We can jump into the water and swim through vertical walls to get back to the main entrance. Jump into the loading zone and exit Tiny's temple. Grab these 2 crystals along the way, and then we're going to head over here and tag Tiny. So typically you would open the stone door that's to the right to allow you to access the back half of Aztec. However, if we come back here and backflip into this corner, if we hit a specific pixel, Tiny will get pushed over to the side and clip out of bounds. Like so. We can walk along the side of the out of bounds movement, cut across, and get over to Tiny's Splat. Kill the Splat, attempt to avoid the grenades falling upon us from all directions. We can jump and ponytail twirl at a specific spot on that wall and clip out of bounds to quickly head over to Funky's, where we are going to fight the second boss. Avoid the claptrap and enter Trophenscoff. So we're going to fight this boss as DK, even though it would typically be fought as Diddy in a casual playthrough. Any Kong can beat any boss. Come on, DK. There we go. So once again, Moonkick on the slope. Get out of bounds. And head to fight Dogadon 1. So Dogadon is very straightforward, just like Armadillo. He has a fireball throwing phase, then he lands, you throw a TNT barrel at him, and you do this 3 times. There's a little bit of optimization that you can do on the second and third phase. So after his first round of throwing fireballs at you, we can pick up this TNT barrel, and by doing this jumping movement, we can get close to where he is. And by jumping right at the edge, you can cause him to get hit the first possible frame that his hitbox is there, and he will go shooting right through the ceiling. So we can't do that on this third phase, as it sometimes causes the key to not spawn. So we're still going to avoid him. But then we're just going to throw the barrel early. And that way it hits him once he actually lands, and the key spawning is guaranteed. Collect the key. Head over here, backflip on top of Funky's. Then because this banana is really close to the wall, we can jump in a specific spot, clip out of bounds, and head over to Stealthy Snoop. So this bonus barrel, we just have to avoid being detected by the little lights, and make our way to the finish. So as I stated earlier, you can use damage to skip the dance cutscene. So we can also use oranges to cause damage specifically to hit us into the golden bananas and save time by not watching that cutscene. Exit the tunnel, and we're going to head over to the 5-door temple. So we can jump in the sand here, and the slope is a bit weak, especially when you walk in the sand a bit, that you can roll, clip through the slope, and backflip into the loading zone without having to complete a long set of tasks to spawn the switches to actually enter the temple the intended way. Make our way through, grab the golden banana. Then we get a bit of incentive from the actual game to get the hell out of here and continue on our merry way to the llama temple. So we can jump over to this tree to avoid having to walk around the sand, land on this slope, and attempt to do a moon kick that we unfortunately did not get, so we're just going to go around to the back here, walk in the sand, roll through the slope, and then backflip into the loading zone. So Lanky is trapped, and unfortunately we need to free him, even though he tends to be the destructor of runs in our community. So we're going to do a trick called gun skew. By pulling out our gun while we're out of bounds and then walking into water, we're able to have our gun out while swimming. We can then dive, tilt our Kong's axis, enter first person, and suddenly we are bent backwards, holding our gun and grabbing this golden banana. And this state is actually extremely interesting because our hitbox is moved as such that the walls don't detect us anymore, and we're able to pass right through them. So we can climb up here, attempt to do a moon kick. Unfortunately, we didn't get it. And while in this state, although we can pass through walls, we can lose this state at any time by either falling into water or just by doing a normal jump in place. And if either of those things happen, it's a significant time loss. So we have a matching game here. Just have to match the colors with their sounds. So there's 2 sounds for each color. Match them, spawns the golden banana. And then we can continue on our way to Lanky's blueprint. Unfortunately, we went a little too far left. But here's Lanky's splat. Grab the blueprint, tag orb 2, and we'll go back and get Tiny. Take warp 1 back, and we'll go get Tiny's golden banana in that very same room. By going through this wall, we can go far enough out of bounds to void out quickly, grab some ammo for later, and we're done with Aztec. And so now we're going to head to Frantic Factory after we turn in the second boss key. So we're going to tag Lanky so that we can get his golden bananas. We need 15 golden bananas to enter factory, so if we weren't to grab these now, we wouldn't actually be able to enter that level. We can do a modified swim through vertical walls by entering first person and diving, and then grabbing the caged golden banana from underneath. Heading inside, we're going to get this golden banana as well. All we have to do is move across, We jump on these sloped surfaces as you get a slight speed boost by jumping on them. We're not going to trigger the turning in the key cutscene yet. And then turn in the key. And the reason why we wait to turn in the key is because every time you turn in the key and it plays a cutscene, it actually spawns you back at the entrance store. So it saves a bit of time to save it till the end. And so, leave tag warp 1, and instead of taking that platform that was just shown to have spawned, because we already have monkey port, it's a bit faster to just take Tiny to the back of Kremling Island and just monkey port all the way up to the top. And we can also grab this golden banana here in that same process. Just play our instrument on the pad that we've already unlocked because of main menu mode. And then we'll head on our merry way to Frantic Factory. We want to enter as Lanky, as the first golden banana we're going to get is with Lanky. Talk to the bee locker and enter the level. And so this is Frantic Factory. It's one of the more difficult and inconsistent levels in the run due to a significant amount of RNG. So hopefully everything goes okay. So this robot is the first bit of RNG. He has 2 attacks, and we're going to use him and his movement to push ourselves out of bounds. Unfortunately, he's not cooperating. That's the attack we want, his lunging attack. We need him to get a little closer, though. Yeah, not cooperating. Oh, robot. That was close, even though he didn't attack. Alright, we got out of bounds. By long jumping over to this room, we're able to walk under this cage that's above us and lower the gate for Tiny's golden banana later. We can then drop down, tag warp 4 for later, tag Diddy, grab Diddy's blueprint, and spawn Diddy's golden banana for later. And then we're going to head over and free Chunky. Climb this pipe, hit the switch, and Chunky is free. So we can once again do another damage boost. Unfortunately, the orange sent us in a slightly wrong direction. And we'll grab the golden banana. We're then going to do a moon kick with DK to enter the power shed early to turn on the production room. So we can cancel our aerial by landing on the ground, just as we do with the slopes, and shoot the switch. Pull this lever, which will turn on the production room and give us a golden banana, while giving us a nice overlook of the level. Get to listen to Factory's music. It's one of my favorites. Damage ourselves into this golden banana as well, and exit the power shed. And then we're going to head up to the higher Trophenscough to complete everyone's favorite boss from their childhood, Mad Jack, or the evil Jack in the Box. So we want to complete this boss as tiny, so instead of moon kicking with DK, we're going to do a ledge clip on this stair. Come on, Tiny. There we go. Bypass Trophenscough and enter Mad Jack. So in phases 1 through 3, Mad Jack moves in a somewhat circular pattern that is quite predictable, that can be manipulated with diagonals to give all fast jumps to complete the cycle quicker. And at the end of each phase, he has 4 possible squares that he can spawn a blue switch, and 4 possible squares he can spawn a white switch. And we want to put ourselves in the best position for hitting the correct switch. So, not too bad. And so long as he thinks he's jumping onto a square that we aren't on, he will do a faster jump. If he thinks he's going to be jumping onto our square, he'll slow down. Hit the white switch. And now for phases 4 and 5, he does a bit different movement where he more closely follows you. And so we're going to do a bit of a zigzag pattern. And that allows us to get multiple fast jumps. Head over to the blue switch and do the same thing again while he's invisible. Fortunately, got some slow jumps. Good switch spawn though. That's fine. And so that was Mad Jack. Done semi-quickly. The boss fight is fairly RNG heavy due to switch placement. So Wasn't the best, but wasn't the worst RNG. So we can head over here to this golden banana that we opened the gate for earlier and collect it, and then head back down to get Tiny's blueprint. We're going to come over here and get Tiny's instrument ammo for later. So what instrument ammo means is that even though we have Tiny's instrument, we can't actually play it unless we have an instrument pad until we collect those headphones, which gives us a total amount of 10 times to play our instrument. But we can take Chunky in here and skip the puzzle for this room and platforming and just grab the box on the side and collect the golden banana, and take Chunky over to production room. Head over here, press Chunky switch, attempt to get the long jump through the cutscene, but unfortunately we didn't get it, which means we get a slightly slower cycle for platforms. Jump onto this rotating platform, head to the middle, wait for the crusher to pull up, and grab the golden banana. Cross back to the tag barrel, where we'll take Diddy up to the golden banana that we spawned earlier. Cross the rotating cylinders, Simeon spring, and grab the golden banana. Tag DK, and we're going to go get DK's blueprint. Just roll across, land on this platform, shoot the splat, kick, jump, aerial down to avoid taking fall damage, and enter the crusher room area. If we walk into this corner while the crusher is up, we can clip out of bounds and head straight to the golden banana. And then we're going to make our way back to the start of the level by clipping out of bounds again. And voiding out. And now we get to do a second robot push with DK that hopefully goes a bit better than the first one. These two pushes, nice, that went a lot better. These two pushes tend to kill a lot of runs. So, one of them going well is ideally what would be a good setting for a GDQ, and usually both go fairly well, that it's not really a worry for a marathon setting. So we're going to turn in 3 of DK's blueprints to get 3 golden bananas, and that will help us reach the total of 30 golden bananas that we need to enter the next level, Gloomy Galleon. We're going to climb this pole with my personal favorite Kong, Chunky, to grab his blueprint. And so you'll notice with Chunky, it took a lot less shots to actually kill his Kasplat. Each Kong has a different amount of damage they can do with their ammo, Chunky's being the highest and Lanky and Tiny being the lowest. So we'll be shooting Kasplats with Chunky, DK, and Diddy, and we'll be knocking them over with Lanky and Tiny for most of the rest of the run. So we're going to do another bonus barrel called Batty Barrel Bandit. We just have to line up 4 bananas. And do that 3 times in order to complete the minigame. 20 is good. Upon completing it, it spawns a golden banana. And we're going to head up here. Long jump up to avoid climbing, and grab Lanky's blueprint. Not a bad back half of Factory. So we're going to tag Chunky, as Chunky is the only one that can open this crate here that contains both a fairy and a tiny splat. We don't need the fairy, and we can't actually collect the fairy even if we wanted to, but we will collect the blueprint from the splat. And then we'll tag DK, pull this lever to start the platform moving, and get his instrument golden banana on top. So where that golden banana is placed is based off of the camera position and where you are on the actual instrument pad. So if you place yourself perfectly, he will actually drop the golden banana on top of you. Fall down to this platform, shoot the switch, and get the golden banana. Kick down into the water. Where we're going to tag Chunky to grab his blueprint and then use him at the beginning of Gloomy Galleon. And so this is the water level of the game. It can be a bit challenging, but I personally really enjoy this level. We can hit both of these switches, and then just like Chimpy Charge, you can Primate Punch through a cutscene to move yourself a bit farther. We're going to head down this hallway to this broken up ship, where we can get past some exploding barrels, punch a chest, and find some magical golden treasure inside. Oh, banana. Head back to this cannon, where we'll cross the vines, tag Warp 3 for later, and enter Trough and Scoff for the 4th boss. Ledge clip with Chunky, that was a very nice ledge clip. And enter the boss. So Puff Toss is a very angry fish hired by K. Rool to shoot fireballs at you while you run around through stars, spawning these electric pillars to shock him 5 times to defeat him. And there's no RNG related to the switches in this fight. The only RNG is where he shoots his fireballs, which can be a bit unfortunate like that, as they can make you lose a cycle. However, that was good RNG there. Oops. So one more phase. And so the key spawns in the middle of this boss. If after hitting the 5th switch we can line ourselves up perfectly, we're a bit too far to the left. We could collect the key during the cutscene and end the boss fight slightly early. But overall, not a bad boss fight. Oops. It helps to actually collect the key. And so even though we deleted the boss fight, this portal actually remains. And we can backflip on top of it to clip out of bounds. And use this to get over to the cactus and 5-door ship area. Re-enter in bounds, where we can hopefully go under this platform. That shouldn't stop us. Jump and kill Chunky's Kasplat for his blueprint. Tag Tiny, where we're going to swim over to the 5-door ship. And this level especially is where swim through vertical walls is really useful, as there's a significant amount of water everywhere. Any wall on this plane, if we're angled slightly to the right, we can just enter first person, press A, and swim right through the wall, so long as it's not the sides of these ships. We can enter this room, and we get hit by our favorite buddy, the starfish. Everyone loves the starfish in our community. He tends to always be in the way, and it can cause a little bit of time loss, but nothing too serious. Starfish will be our friend one day. Tag Lanky, and swim through vertical walls to enter his 5-door ship as well. Instead of a starfish buddy, we have a pufferfish buddy who likes to explode. We get past him easily, steal the golden banana, and re-exit. We can then head over to where the 2-door ship is. Swim through vertical walls along that wall. Swim underneath the floor. Come right back up by the 2-door ship. And enter the loading zone. We can then swim through vertical walls to this wall as well. I'm sure everyone is absolutely loving how many walls we're going through. Grab the golden banana, swim right back out, and void to get back to the start of the area. where we can head over and get Lanky's blueprint. By jump aerialing at our peak, we can grab onto the ledge even though we're at low water. Kill the splat, grab the blueprint. Swim through vertical walls through this wall. Veer immediately to the right so we avoid the void. And we get to see everyone's favorite fish, Ungard, for about 15 to 20 seconds. Hi, Ungard. So we're going to take Ungard, who can only be controlled by Lanky, and break open this chest, detransform, grab the golden banana, and we won't see Ungard for the rest of the run. Tag Diddy, and then immediately go to the surface to get his blueprint. Shoot the splat. And then we'll raise the water so we can get to Snides to turn in more blueprints so that we can enter Fungi Forest and Crystal Caves later. So we wait for the 4 golden bananas to fall. We do our little victory dance. Hooray, we got golden bananas. And exit Snides. Tag Tiny. Head over to Warp 3 that we tagged earlier, where we can get Tiny's Kasplat. Head back over to where that portal was, Ponytail twirl right above it, and Void to get back to the main entrance. And that was Gloomy Galleon. We can swim through vertical walls through this wall to get to this golden banana with Tiny. And then swim through vertical walls again to Void to get back to the entrance of the lobby, where we will exit and make our way over to the Banana Fairy Island. So this golden banana is a potential soft lock. In a marathon setting, we would use the Wii U VC save state feature just in case we were to soft lock. But we can grab the golden banana and enter the fairy loading zone to get the camera and shockwave. So shockwave is beneficial because Tiny, Diddy, and Lanky can now kill Kasplats even quicker for the cost of 1 crystal coconut. And also, by having the camera, we'll be able to do a trick with Chunky later that is what makes this whole route work. And I will explain that when we get to it. So we're going to turn in key 4 now, so that immediately after Japes, or after revisiting Japes, we will be able to head straight to Fungi. Unfortunately, we can't go straight to Fungi Forest now, as it requires 50 golden bananas, and we only have 40. So we're going to get some fast golden bananas in DK Isles and Japes first, and then we will head over to Fungi Forest. So, one of these fast golden bananas involves Hunky Chunky. So we can enter this barrel, and Chunky grows freakishly tall and moves extremely quick. And he becomes so heavy that we can slam ourselves into the switch and blow up a rock and spawn a golden banana. Hooray! We can head over here. We can then do a trick called Swim Through Shores that we also just did with Tiny. By diving near a shore and then quickly mashing B, you can just clip right through the shore. Swim right through the center of the level and grab the golden banana that we just spawned. And head over to Jungle Jape's lobby. We can grab this boulder. And move it so that we can tag Lanky and play our instrument to spawn another golden banana. And so Japes 2 is going to go by very, very quickly. And I will do my best to explain the very trick-heavy beginning. So we're going to use skew to get a significant amount of golden bananas very, very quickly. And we're going to do that with gun skew as we did earlier. However, because we actually have the camera now, we can pull out our gun while on land, Z-slide off and dive, and then because we have the camera, we can actually still swim through vertical walls. Unfortunately, my water height wasn't good, so I'm going to have to do the slightly slower out of bounds. Angle ourselves, get skew, clip through the wall, and grab the golden banana. Clip back through the wall, use warp 3, which we tagged earlier, and head to get Tiny's blueprint. And so by being in skew, it saves a very large amount of time because you're able to go through walls and skip a significant amount of travel and puzzles to get a whole bunch of golden bananas very quickly. So usually you'd have to mini monkey to enter that barrel through the top, but because we're skewed, we can just go right through the gate in front. We can head over to the tag barrel, tag Diddy, clip back through, get to the main area, and grab the golden banana. Be careful not to lose skew. And tag Chunky, where we can stand on the side, throw an orange, and attempt to get a dance skip, but unfortunately we missed it. Oops. Tag Lanky. And head over to Lanky's caged golden banana. And then we're going to take skewed Lanky over here, pass through this gate, and enter the painting room. So there's a couple ways you can clip out of bounds in here. The fastest way is to go against this wall, jump aerial. It can be kind of precise. There we go. Not bad. Use the painting frame to clip out of bounds. And exit. Then we're going to travel to the back to get both Lanky's blueprint. Oh. Fortunately, we weren't able to get the shockwave off before we got hit. I also went right through the blueprint. And head into Speedy Swing Sortie. So this is a very straightforward mini game. We're going to use the mushroom to get up the tree, grab the vine, and then just press A as quickly as we can to swing on the vines. Collect all the coins, and we're done. We can then enter first person, quickly exit and jump, and skip that dance. Head back to the main area where we will grab Chunky. Swim through vertical walls to get out of bounds, and we'll head to the underground area. Jump across to save a little bit of walking. We can overlap these cutscenes to save a little bit of time. Shoot the splat, grab the blueprint, and then recross back to get the golden banana. We can then grab this rock, which contains a golden banana inside, throw it near the beaver, use the beaver to damage us into the golden banana, tag DK, and then exit Jungle Japes. And now we're going to head to everyone but mine's favorite level, Fungi Forest. There's no real specific reason why I don't really like Fungi Forest. It's not that I don't like it, it's just not one of my favorites. But it's generally the most well-known level of the game, and the one that people have the most fondest memories of. And there's a lot of really cool things to show off, regardless. So we're going to go through this pink tunnel here to get to everyone's favorite giant fungi. Roll around to the back where we're going to grab Diddy. So Diddy conveniently has Rocket Barrel right over here. Where we can enter, rocket ourselves all the way up, grab this conveniently placed homing ammo for later, tag Lanky, and climb right to the top, where we can throw an orange and press the switch to open the dark room. Unfortunately, we got hit by the bee, but we grabbed the golden banana. Tag Chunky. And drop down. Kill his Splat. Drop down again. And tag Diddy. Backflip up, we say hi to another one of the DK64 runner Emo Arbiter's favorite bee. That bee has killed his and many other runs by knocking us all the way down. It tends to find a way of being an inconvenience, but luckily it cooperated. Take Tiny, jump down, charge a shockwave, and kill her Splat. Pull out our gun, do another gun dive, swim through vertical walls. Oops. I unfortunately entered first person, but we're okay. We still have our guns stored. Make a sharp left so we avoid the void trigger. Swim all the way to the end of the tunnel. Tilt ourselves up. See up. And backflip up into the tunnel. Grab some crystals. And tag Lanky. Grab the blueprint. Almost lost skew there. That would have been bad. And then we can head over here to the side, walk underneath the level, backflip up, and hit the loading zone. And this is one of the reasons why we got the instrument ammo earlier. By playing our instrument, we can kill all of the purple claptraps instantly upon entering. We can then jump, ponytail twirl, and be at the exact spot where the golden banana spawns, and then death warp out. Then we'll head over to the blue tunnel to turn in some blueprints so that we can enter crystal caves. Apologies for the car in the background. Tag Lanky and turn in Lanky's blueprints. Some obligatory O bananas for the 5 blueprints we turn in. Exit. Tag DK. enter Dogadon. So this is our rematch with Dogadon, and we're going to do something very special. We're going to grab the barrel, turn around, stand in front of it, and have him hit us, and he's dead. So what just happened there is Dogadon hit me, so I was in an invincible state, and because he was against me while I was in an invincible state and he was taking damage from the barrel, it immediately causes his health to go to 0, and the fight ends. It's our one and only quick kill. This can also be done in Angry Aztec for Key 5. However, in No Levels Early, because we require killing all bosses, we still complete this in Fungi instead of doing it in Aztec. So, the programmers were lovely and didn't actually program a wall there, so we can just walk right through with DK and grab his golden banana. We can then do something called a skid jump, where when DK skids, if you jump the frame after, the game still thinks you're on the ground, and will allow you to do another action out of the skid jump. So we're able to double jump all the way up to the tag barrel, tag Diddy, and then swim through vertical walls with Diddy to get to his cage golden banana. Swim through vertical walls here, and this is another semi-soft lock possibility that would be save stated for. Getting skew allows us to very quickly exit the level. As we can just go right through the wall and void. So in a marathon setting, we would save state there to prevent any possible soft locks. So we exit Fungi Forest and we tag Diddy, and we're going to eventually make our way to the hardest level of the run, Crystal Caves. Slide right off, and take warp 3. Tag Chunky, and we're going to turn in Key 5 to unlock Creepy Castle and Crystal Caves. Take warp 1, and then take warp 2. We can pick up this boulder, manipulate our camera so that we're looking at Kremling Island, and then hopefully spawn the golden banana to drop on top of us. Unfortunately, we were a little off. Jump across and enter Crystal Caves lobby. We're going to punch down this wall, tag Lanky, and grab his blueprint. tag Diddy, where we'll get his instrument golden banana. Collect the golden banana, and we now have the 65 golden bananas required to enter Crystal Caves. So we're going to immediately head as fast as we can to the water, so that we can start off Crystal Caves with a gun skew. We can swim through vertical walls right here, jump out of the water, pull out our gun, backflip, back up, inbounds. Apparently not. We'll just go over to the side. That camera can be a little finicky if you don't get it. Well, unfortunately we just lost skew there, but not a big deal. We can just jump back and grab skew again. Come on. Thank you. Unfortunately, we got stuck on the fence. There we go. So now we're across the river with skew. And the whole reason we need skew is to get in and out of this area with Diddy's blueprint early. So we grab Diddy's blueprint, exit, make sure we don't fall off, and this is why caves is difficult. A lot of things can go wrong, and this is accounted for in the estimate. Luckily we don't need skew. However, we can head up here, tag Warp 5 for later, and then head over to Diddy's bonus barrel.
Welcome to bonus stage.
So we pull out our gun to quickly kill all the enemies throughout the maze while listening to the best music in the game, Mad Maze Mall. Cross the finish line after killing all the enemies, and it spawns a golden banana. And then we're able to take Rocket Barrel right over to DK's one-door cabin and enter Trough and Scoff. So we're now going to have our rematch with Armadillo 2. The fight is very similar to Armadillo 1, except it adds an additional cycle for every phase, and it adds a fourth phase. The fight starts off the exact same way though. He shoots 4 fireballs at you. We lag reduce by looking at the floor. Pick up the TNT barrel and throw it at his nose. Immediately get hit to stop the rolling phase. We're going to pick up the barrel, and because there's an additional cycle that's occurring, we're going to place it slightly off center. So if we place it in the correct spot, it doesn't explode and it prevents a little bit of lag. Place the barrel close to him so that it instantly hits him at the end of the phase. Avoid the fireballs. And kick towards him. Grab the barrel. Enter first person to look at the floor to lag reduce. And we placed the barrel correctly this time, so we're just able to stand on the barrel without taking any damage and lag reduce at the same time. Place the barrel close to him. Listening to my favorite boss music in the game. And then one more cycle. Unfortunately, we didn't get it. The barrel placement. He's going to shoot 6 fireballs at us. We're going to avoid them. Attempt to backflip into the missile so that it hits us back at him. I backflipped a little early, but that's fine. And then grab the key. Walk down, play our instrument, and enter DK's cabin. So we can, instead of doing the puzzle of matching the colors, do a moon kick on that ledge, turn around, land on the edge, grab the golden banana with a backflip, and then immediately leave the room and carry on our merry way. Roll over to the tag barrel, grab Tiny, shockwave the splat, and then head over to the 5-door cabin. We can stand at the edge of that, backflip, grab the platform, and climb up. Enter first person, and we need to throw oranges to kill the claptraps. Unfortunately, they're in very bad positions. And then We can grab this edge. As the golden banana spawns, it hits us, and we let go of the ledge and skip the cutscene and immediately get teleported back to the entrance of the level, where we tag DK, drop down, and play our instrument to enter his one-door cabin. We can then grab homing ammo. Sometimes the bees don't cooperate the best. And exit. Get a somewhat difficult moonkick up to get to the tag barrel a bit quicker. Tag Lanky and take Warp 5, which we tagged earlier, to grab his blueprint. Carefully grab his blueprint and long jump over the river. Climb up the pillars and tag DK to get his blueprint. We can then tag Chunky, and this would also be an area where I would save state in a marathon run. We're going to get Skew here. And while Skew itself isn't the difficult part, so we get Skew. We get this golden banana. And then we're going to head out of bounds all the way over to the other side of Crystal Caves. Backflip up into Snide's area. Grab the instrument ammo for later. Head here. Zoom out to load this area. And head to this corner. Long jump. And then this would be why we would save state, is if you miss the igloo and you fall into the water, you lose Skew. And unfortunately, without Skew, you can't actually leave that room. And it's a soft lock. So instead, we're going to have to do a backup golden banana of Diddy's igloo. And so it's still a fairly quick golden banana, but for the sake of being able to show off the igloo golden banana, save stating would be utilized for the marathon for that long jump. So we're going to tag Tiny. And head over to do her igloo. So we can kill the Kosha, and then we just have to hit the target 3 times to spawn the golden banana. Oops. And exit the igloo. Got a little turned around there for a second. Once we exit the igloo, we can head over here to warp 4. As we already tagged the pair, we can take warp 4, tag the monkey port pad, and collect this golden banana. To exit, just take monkey port back, and take warp 4. We can then jump down into the water and swim through vertical walls and head to Snides. Where we're going to turn in the remaining tiny, lanky, and chunky blueprints that we have. So more obligatory O bananas. And then we'll tag Lanky, do the same thing, and then we'll tag Chunky. So unfortunately, I don't really have too much to talk about during these blueprint turn-ins. This would be a very ideal time for donations to be read, though. Tag Chunky. Do. Something that's a bit underrated in this game is the music. I thoroughly enjoy it and tend to catch myself humming it every now and then. Especially Caves Boss, while I'm in Caves Boss. There's a significant amount of nostalgia for this game as it's one of my favorite games of all time. I've been speedrunning it since the end of January 2015, and this category since July of 2015. So I've put a significant amount of effort into improving for this category. We can tag DK, backflip up, and then use the antenna to clip. Roll towards the bats, and exit. We can then do a very recently discovered trick called fall through vertical walls. By entering first person, we can use the falling effect the same way as the swimming effect and clip through a specific plane of the wall, clip back in bounds, damage ourselves across, and collect the golden banana. We'll take warp 1 and we'll head to Creepy Castle, which will be second to last level of the speedrun. Rolling around the pit of green goop, we can pull out our gun, avoid getting hit by the kocha into the lava that causes insta-death and destruction, tag Diddy, and kill the Kasplat. And then we're going to enter the level. We can then climb, head to the tag barrel, where we're going to tag DK, jump down into the water, surface, head to the tree, enter first person, clip into the tree. Oops. Hit the switch and get DK's blueprint. There's then a weak seam right here on this wall. We can roll into the wall, clip out of bounds, skip needing sniper scope and shooting targets, and grab the golden banana and exit the tree. We can then head over to this wall, swim through vertical walls into it, and unfortunately I went a little too far. This is a trick called Crypt Swim. It can be a little bit precise. We're looking for this gap, and we can swim right through the gap and right through the entire middle of the level and head immediately to the crypt area. Tag with Diddy. Shoot the splat. And then we're going to make a trip to the lower rocket barrel to get all the way to the top of Creepy Castle. Grab this ladder. Climb. And head immediately to Snides. Once again, more donations can be read during this blueprint turn-in. Attempt to avoid getting hit off by the kocha. That kocha, unfortunately, is always in the way. Tag DK. And we'll turn in DK's blueprints. So we turn in DK's blueprints. And we can head over to this corner here. And by falling on a specific pixel, we can clip and fall to the library. Grab the golden banana while the cutscene plays. And exit the library. We can head over here to the ballroom tag barrel, tag Chunky, and then head to the shed where we can get his golden banana. Play our instrument immediately as we enter to kill the bats. The bats, unfortunately, are not our friends in this case. Enter first person to wait for the golden banana to spawn so that we can immediately throw an orange, damage ourselves into the golden banana, and exit the shed. Then we head into Troffenscoff, where we're going to tag DK, just as a slightly easier method of entering the boss fight. So this is the final boss we're going to fight, King Cutout. He definitely is an interesting boss fight. He's a bit long. This first phase, he has 3 hits. There's one cutout that's shooting lasers at you, and when he stops, the cannon lights up, and you shoot yourself out of the cannon and at him. After 3 hits, the second phase starts, where there will be 2 cutouts. One is fake, one is real. The fake one is grayed out, and the real one is solid, and you can still hit him. There's also now a ghost in the middle that certainly loves to get in the way, and also knock you in a cannon occasionally when you don't want to go in the cannon. Making sure I hit the correct one. Kill the ghost. And after 3 hits, we finish the second phase. The third phase is a bit more difficult, as there is now both the cutouts and the ghost, and they move around in circles. And we want to hit them on specifically this wall, as this wall is facing the side where we can swim through vertical walls to exit the boss quickly at the end of the fight. Second hit, because we want to leave as tiny, we're going to enter kill off Lanky. It was nice knowing you. Tag Tiny, make the final shot, and then we're going to swim through vertical walls after this cutscene plays to cause the game to void us out right back to the middle and collect the key. So we can swim right through. And key get. We'll then use Mini Monkey for the first time in the speedrun. Jump up, enter the trash can, play our instrument, kill all the bugs. No one likes flies. Kick slide over through the cutscene. And grab the golden banana, where we now have excuse me, all 100 golden bananas we need to complete the run. Exit the trash can and jump off the world to get back to the entrance. It's then faster to get back to the other side of the lobby entrance by killing ourselves in the insta-death lava. And then we're going to turn in 2 keys. I repeat, 2 keys. Both keys 6 and 7. To open K. Rool's mouth to the final level, Hideout Helm. So that's one, and there's the second. And this turning cutscene would also be a great time for donations to be read during the run. We'll exit out, cross the river, and head to the monkey port pad that we used earlier to teleport up to Hideout Helm. This camera. Use Hunky Chunky. Not Hunky Chunky. I misspoke there. Use Invisible Chunky, or the Gorilla Gone pad, to spawn the vines and enter Hideout Helm. So, Hideout Helm is specifically the reason why we can do this route with a new trick that was found. So, we're going to climb up here, and we're going to complete Hideout Helm with Chunky. So, shoot the switch. And then we're going to cross the lava. Hold R until Chunky stops shaking, turn slightly to the left, jump, aerial, he grabs, and we pull ourselves up out of bounds, doing a trick that we refer to as Terminal 1 clip. We can then follow the out of bounds line to make our way underneath Tiny's room. So we're underneath Tiny's room. C up to load DK's room, which we can walk around. The camera can sometimes not cooperate the best here. Turn. Load the hallway. backflip and bounce. And we're going to safety tag warp 1. By landing in a specific spot, we're able to clip through that wall, doing something called Terminal 2 clip. Long jump under this path, and head to key 8. By looking at the door and window, we're able to prevent something called fake key. And then we're going to do a lagless form of helm escape. So by skid jumping, pulling out our camera on our way up, and then quickly exiting out of first person, we can clip out of bounds, doing fall through vertical walls without additional height. Do it again. And exit hideout helm. And that is the trick that allows us to, instead of turning in all 40 blueprints as Tudos did in his run, to skip 6 slow blueprints and substitute them with 6 faster golden bananas. We turn in keys 8 and 3. And we get to watch everyone's favorite cutscene of the run. The K-Lumsy, the fantastic dinosaur smacking K-Rool's ship out of the sky. This is one of my favorite cutscenes. Donations could be read during this, but this is definitely one of the highlights of doing Helm Escape instead of 40 blueprints. 40 blueprints we would usually reset out of this cutscene as we use Snide's bonus games to exit main menu mode. And so because we exit main menu mode, we're able to save and reset out of this cutscene. But because we're still in main menu mode, we're not able to reset and have to watch this 90-second cutscene, which surprisingly is still faster than getting the slower blueprints, because getting the slower blueprints require us to go back to Aztec 2 and make an Aztec 2 and get Chunky's Aztec blueprint. So exit, take warp 1, take warp 3, and enter the final boss. So this is K-Rool. We're going to have a series of 5 rounds of a boxing match with him, 1 round with each Kong. And we're going to start off with DK, progress to Diddy, then Lanky, then Tiny, then Chunky, and I'll explain each phase as we go through it. But first, we get to watch an extremely long cutscene. And then I also would like to take the time to appreciate, once it starts, K-Rool's music. It's one of the finer pieces in the game. It's a phenomenal song, and it's extremely catchy and nostalgic to me. And it's definitely one of the things that I remember most about the game as a kid. So we're going to unlock our camera and zoom in to lag reduce a little. And unfortunately, I missed the jump in. Jump into the barrel, progress to the next one, and after a specific amount of punches, you can immediately shoot, and the pattern is the same every time. And that was DK phase. And so now we're going to do Diddy phase. This is probably the hardest phase of K. Rool to optimize. We're going to walk around him. He's going to shoot his glove at us. We're going to walk into him to have an invisible state and backflip immediately into Rocket Barrel. And shoot both of the switches. By lining ourselves up directly, we can shoot through and hit both switches at the same time. Unfortunately, I'm moving a little too far. There we go. Not a terrible Diddy phase. So, because we did Diddy phase, K. Rool now has a light on top of him, and he's running around blindly. And we're going to play our instrument and make him slip over giant banana peels. Walk past him. Pick up the second barrel, throw it in the middle. Same with the third. Fortunately, I long jumped the second time, but that was lanky phase. So this is tiny phase, the longest phase of K. Rool. There's a bit more in depth of doing this fight on N64 where there's a lot more lag reduction. We will still do some of the lag reduction as there is still a small amount of lag on Wii U Virtual Console, which is what this will be run on. And the first thing we'll do once the fight starts is climb this pole, enter first person, and we will wait for him to stop shockwaving, and then head to the mini monkey barrel that spawns in the middle. Oops. And so on N64, we would use oranges to be able to look at the ground and lag reduce. However, on Wii U VC, it's actually a little bit faster to keep our gun out and to shoot the toes. And so these patterns are pretty much always the same, so long as you don't get something we refer to as the toes desyncing, which is caused by being either on the very far left or the far right of the shoe, which causes a toe to be skipped, and it changes the pattern. So long as I avoid that, we will get the same pattern every time and know exactly where the toes will be and when to hit them. And at this point, this would be a great time for donations in a marathon setting. The fight is relatively straightforward for this round. There's a little bit of RNG on this last cycle where he can be right behind you, which makes it a bit more difficult to get to the mini monkey barrel. However, he wasn't in the way this time. And that's Tiny Phase. And so now we have Chunky Phase. K-Rool is pretty upset that we have beaten him in the 4 previous phases, and decides to make it a little bit more difficult by going invisible and rampaging around the arena, where all we have to do is hit the switch, turn invisible ourselves, which for some reason makes him visible, enter the middle, enter the hunky shunky barrel, and slap him across the arena at the appropriate time. Oops. I walked a little too far and got hit. Slap him again. And I walked right into him again. Oops. Slap him a third time. And then time ends on the cutscene playing after the 4th slap. Not the greatest of chunky phases, but could have been worse. And that is DK64 no levels early. So, I really hope the committee considers this run and is willing to put it into another GDQ. I have a lot of interesting donation incentives to go along with this run, and I would really like to be able to present them when the submissions for donation incentives come out. And yeah, thank you very much for watching and considering DK64 no levels early.